Good morning, everyone. I don't know where you are in this part of the world, but I'm in Melbourne and it's freezing. But we've got a guest here today to launch their book that, I know for them, doesn't matter about the weather, they're still out there doing their thing. And let me tell you about our author this morning, and that is Jenson Mack. And Jenson is the Run Doc Mack. He is a physician and a running enthusiast and level 3 high performance community trail and ultra running coach with Athletic Australia. As a physician, he specializes in healthy aging. And we all need that, don't we? And longevity, which is very fitting considering that both of his grandmothers are in their 90s and are still with us, living vibrant lives in Jenson's home city of Hong Kong. And after 20 years of practicing medicine, he has over 10,000 patient consultations under his belt and is the leading expert, and let's hope I get this, iliotibial. How do we say it?
Iliotibial, Susan.
Iliotibial. That's as good as you're going to get from me, but it's iliotibial band syndrome, which is a common runner's knee injury. So I can't even say it, but he's always been the fit, fast run doc. We know today, I know, hard to believe, but he was once unfit. He was overweight and he couldn't pass a blood pressure test to save his life. When he discovered the transformative power of running, that all changed. Jenson has now completed 44 marathons across 4 continents, a 100-kilometer trail ultramarathon, and has even participated in the UTMB, which is one of the most challenging running events in the world. If that wasn't enough, he's fluent in not only English, I can't even say English, look at that. He is fluent in not only English, but also Mandarin and Cantonese. Perhaps most importantly for today, Jenson is the author of Trailblazing, How to Take Control of Your Health, Vitality, and Longevity Through Running. So welcome this morning, Jenson.
Yes. Hello, Susan, and the rest of the Dean Publishing team.
Fantastic. And I hear you've just signed up for Melbourne events, so we'll have to be there at the finishing line cheering you on. There's an event in Melbourne, correct, in about October?
Yes, correct. Yes, Susan. Yeah, I'm obviously started running just 9 years ago, and one of my big goals out there is to finish 50 marathons by the age of 50. So that's one of my interim goals. So Melbourne Marathon 2024 will be one of them. So I'm very excited to have signed up for the race.
Fantastic. Gosh, 50 marathons, but I haven't even ran one and I'm over 50. So does that give me the pass that I don't have to do them now? But on that, you're a doctor and you said, as we explained, you weren't always a runner, you were a bit overweight, and you started taking up running. You said how many years ago? So what age were you that you took up running, and what had you change, your life to take up such a sport and such a goal as 50 marathons by the time you're 50?
Well, I was actually a runner at school. I'd say mid-pack, and then when I was 20, going into med school, and all the way until age 39, I worked hard. I took up many jobs in the health sector. I got to a stage where at the age of 39, I was unfit, I was overweight, I had hypertension, I had sleep apnea, and I was constantly a little bit, grumpy, and I'd say, I probably had a bit of depression as well, and definitely sleep disturbances. Most importantly, I was unhealthy. I had gained over 20 k's on my body, which I had as a runner when I was at school, and I couldn't, as you said in the introduction, I couldn't even pass a blood pressure exam for the insurance company at the time. So that was actually a big a shock to my system. Added to this, I had an uncle who, at the age of 42, actually suffered a quite a severe heart attack. And at that stage, my third child, my second son, had been born. And I've got this great epiphany that at the hospital, when I cradled his young, vibrant, the baby body on my body, I looked in his eyes and he was so helpless. And I looked at him and I looked into my future and I said, I can't do this to you. I have to be there when you grow up. So that was my running why moment. So after that, at that stage, my daughter, who wanted me to coach her for her upcoming cross country event, asked me to coach her. So at that time, and I share it with, it's one of the many anecdotes in the book that I share. I couldn't even get from the beginning of the beginning of our agreed race start to about 200 meters. As soon as I ran with her for 200 meters, I was gassed. I was thoroughly embarrassed at this stage, and I thought, well, about my daughter. I can't do this to my daughter either. That was the second event. The third event was I was on call, and one of these on call days, we were walking a flight of stairs, and I couldn't even walk up a flight of stairs without getting short of breath. And the people around me were saying, doctor, would you like to take the elevator? And I said, no, I don't want to. I don't have to. So I actually said to myself, well, I am unfit. I need to get stronger. I need to transform myself. And that's how my running journey started.
Yeah, and it's amazing, like you said, when you've got that skin to skin, you've got that baby there, and you look into their eyes, and like you said with your daughter, it's really is a selfless act, because at the end of the day, you can get fit for yourself, and it's great, and obviously you've seen all the amazing benefits, and I know that a lot of those you share in the book, that it's not just about getting fit. It's not just about obviously being around. The most important thing is being around for your children. And we always seem to do more for others than ourselves, in the sense that you've gone, well, I need to be around for my children. I want to be around for them to grow up. I have the same thing now, where it's like, I want to be around for my grandchildren to grow up, and and it pushes you through. But the benefits that you get as the individual, then you may have started in that point of difference. And like you said, a doctor, people are looking at you. It's very unusual when it's like, I'll go in and see a doctor that's massively overweight and doesn't look healthy himself, and he's giving me advice. So a doctor that's fit and healthy and that's got, that attitude is going to be more inspiring in that, in your practice as well. But you said that you started, and then you started to obviously say, well, this is enough. I want to be around. Tell me a little bit about the next phase of, for the listeners here too. What age was it that you started? And like you said, you couldn't run 200 meters. What were the stages that got you running? If someone wanted to go, you know what, I want to start running too, can anyone do it at any age? And what are kind of some fast track steps that they could do? And I know that you write a lot about bits and pieces and tips in the book, but just for the listeners, a quick snippet, where do they get started and how do they kind of get moving?
Yeah, well, I'm actually very lucky to be part of a running group called the Sydney Striders, who have had many years of success. being one of the premier clubs, running clubs in Sydney. And so since joining the Striders group, I've obviously gained a lot of friends and acquaintances through the running community. So I think joining a running group is one fantastic way. And I guess I want to address the most obvious question in the room, which is can anybody run? I mean, the only contraindication in the literature, as far as I'm aware, are people that have severe osteoarthritis. So these are people that would probably have difficulty walking from one end of the room to the other. I mean, obviously, those people would be somebody that wouldn't be suitable for running. Those people that have unstable cardiac diseases, who might have ischemic heart disease, unstable ischemic heart disease, would be another example. Apart from that, everybody, in my experience, and in the clients that I see, should be running, Susan. In terms of how to start running, one of the exercises that I prescribe in the book is called naked running. Now, obviously, it's a play on words. I don't actually go in the nutty, to run when I'm naked, not run naked. But I'm talking about wearing shoes that are either minimalist shoes, wearing socks, or not wearing anything at all when you're running on the grass. The reason why that is, and I'll explain it in the book, is it does help stimulate the acupoints in the feet, which is interesting from somebody who's a Western medicine practitioner. It does work. And the other thing is when you run or jog on the grass without any shoes, it helps the body align to be in the best position where you can be able to run in the most natural way, as nature intended us to do when we were born. As soon as we could stand up, you've probably seen in your two grandchildren and all three of my children, I was propping them up, as a 6 month or 9 month old, and when you bounce them on their feet, the babies are actually, they've got this riding, what we call in the medical terms, a writing reflex, and they're actually running. So one of the premises I talk about in the book is running. We have the program in the DNA that we need for running to keep us alive, and from the day we were born. So I think this is one of the best, I would say, methods to prevent cardiovascular disease, to improve the way we feel, not just physically, but mentally and psychologically. So I'm very, very happy that surreptitiously I found this route, and that's the reason why I'd like to share it, to your listeners, future readers out there, and to the world.
Absolutely. And like you said, the running, I mean, gosh, if you go back into, caveman days, they were running away from the lions, they were running away from danger. So it's something that is built into us. And like you said, the bare feet, the grounding and the effects that it gives you, and as well as the mental state, just the clarity that you get, and there's so many tips inside the book. And I know that the book not only is written in English, but as we spoke before, we actually have the book in 2 languages here. Yeah, we have the Chinese version and the English version, and we're going to put a link below that will allow you to go and grab a copy in whichever language that you would like. And what I think is so great is that it's an easy read, it's very informative, and it talks about all the different, benefits of running. And we've only covered a few today, but there's some great tips in here that, get people to actually have a look at things that will motivate them, because it's okay to say, yes, running, and especially as we talked before, when it's cold and it's raining. But I think when you fall in love with the running, it doesn't matter the weather, you're out there, you're getting your clarity. And even earlier, you know, we chatted about how even people in business, the clarity that you get when you're running, and you talked about getting to that stage of, I think you said something like running flow, or that adrenaline, that your mind is so clear that you can solve problems while you're running, you can get clarity while you're running. And I think you spoke about that earlier, about how, you know, you started to get some, you know, some space for you to be able to have things, you know, drop in that we can get. So it's helped you with your business, helped you with life problems as well, because of that level that you get to, correct?
Yeah, yes. Speaking of running flow, it's absolutely, as I said in the book, it's one of the best habits you can have, the best fun you can have with your clothes on. And obviously, you know, I guess in terms of, we've had some initial success with the book. We were, you know, we did really well in Amazon, reaching a #1 status in a couple of categories at the beginning. So we're very excited. You know, also very happy, and I wanted to publicly thank Robert, running legend, Australian running legend, Robert De Castella, for his generous words in praise for the book. And you know, I'm glad that you know, Deek's read it, and hopefully we you know, I'd like to share it with the public. Hopefully they will find this you know, my tips on running based on my experience, you know, both with the academic and also with my own research experience, and also my clinical practice experience. Will find it beneficial for your life. You know, taking the first step is the most important. Getting that foot out the door, you know, when we don't want to, as you mentioned, Susan. You know, this morning I went for my eye opener run. You know, I got up at about 6. I went out the door. It was like freezing. I mean, I know Melbourne is freezing. Sydney was about 5 degrees, and you know, I didn't really want to get out the door. But when I reminded myself, just got to get one foot out the door, past the door. And as soon as I did that, I started walking. And as soon as I started walking, I started strolling. I started jogging, and then I started running. And when I came back, I had, you know, massive energy improvements. I felt good, and you know, got ready to be 100% for this interview. So yeah, that's just an example for this.
Fantastic. I absolutely agree. I think that this book has got so much information. It's written by a doctor. There's research in there. There's motivation in there. There's so much inside of it. So grab yourself a book, get onto Amazon, put a review, and also look out very, very soon. This is going to be an audio book. And I know that, you know, the great thing about having an audio book is you'll be able to plug it in your ears and go for that walk and start listening to this book. So grab the physical book now. It's always good to have the book there written. You can highlight some parts, you can read that, and then look out very shortly for the audio book, which you can listen to as you start your walking, running, jogging journey. So thank you so much for being with us today. I know that this book is something that people are going to not only learn all the benefits and learn how to get started in running, but they're going to learn about how to have that longevity and all the benefits that running can have for them in their life and in their business. So thanks so much for joining us, and grab yourself a copy of this amazing book in whatever language that you would like on the link below. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Susan, and your team. Thank you.